Welcome back to the channel. Today we are joined by one of the top rising welterweight prospects in New England. His next fight will take place at Cage Titan 67 against Lorenzo Fitzgerald on September 14th at the Plymouth Memorial Hall in Plymouth, Massachusetts. The American Psycho, Brody Mcdougal. How you doing, Brody?
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, man. You're 3 weeks out. How you feeling?
I'm feeling awesome, man. Really, really excited. Getting to the point where just like really peaking in camp. Just, getting to the most exciting stage, body feels good. A lot of like the hard work that's led up to right now, starting to pay dividends in the room. So just, feeling really good.
Yes, sir. And going into the fight with Lorenzo, do you see any holes in his game or any areas you could take advantage of?
I think I'm just definitely a more well-rounded mixed martial artist. And I think that's kind of going to be what pays its hand in this fight. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
What can the fans expect from you at the hall come fight night?
Energy, man. I always come out with a lot of energy, ready to scrap. I like getting in there. I like to crack. I like to have hard fights. I like to give people those true tests when I get in there. I really, really love that opportunity. So I'm just excited to get in there, and just do what I do best.
Absolutely. And what's been the hardest part of the training regimen so far for this camp?
Something new I added in this camp. I've been working with a personal trainer, Ben Higgins, at Athletic Instinct. I've been doing early morning workouts. So I've been waking up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4:30 in the morning, going down to AI and getting in some personal strength training in with Ben. So I would say that, that's something that's been new and unique to this camp. Being a full-time fighter, just, stretching out my training schedule quite literally to fit in as much as, humanly possible. No matter if it's, a little bit more difficult or not.
And how did you start your journey? Like, how did you get into mixed martial arts?
I was just always a big fan. Loved it as a kid. Really got into it during like the season 1 Ultimate Fighter with Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner. But was always into even like, just old UFC days, Chuck and Tito. And then, just kind of was a hockey kid growing up. Eventually when I kind of just transitioned out of hockey, I was just kind of looking for, that next thing to do to kind of stay in shape and stay active. And then I just found my way over to Nostos MMA, started training there. And, probably within a week of me training there, I knew this was something that, I really wanted to pursue.
It's awesome, man. And when did you take your first amateur fight?
Date wise, I can't remember now. But it was like only like 3.5 months after I started training. It was really quick.
A typical day for you, like?
Typical day for me, just kind of wake up in the morning, get, some water, a little bit of food, usually like start my morning, like some fruit, some eggs, some of my supplements in me, get over to the gym, get my first lift in with Ben in the morning. Then I usually have a morning class after Ben's, somewhere around like 10 o'clock or so. Usually like jujitsu or a striking class. I'll go in, I do that. I'm home in the afternoon, usually for lunch till about like 3 o'clock. I teach private lessons as well. So usually I have like a private lesson or two sprinkled in there throughout the day. And then I usually train at Nostos, all night from, 5 to 9 o'clock or so. So, it's a very full training schedule. I stay very busy, but I love every minute of it.
And who's your key guys helping you get ready right now?
Honestly, like there's too many to name all of them. I always end up forgetting and leaving people out. Been getting a lot of work in with Jared St. Jean. Who's going up for a amateur title fight coming up here, second amateur title fight. Was getting a lot of work in with David Burke, Kyle Hill, Ozzie Martin, Ross Danner, my wrestling coach. Been getting in a lot of work with Nick Miles, my striking coach, obviously. Devin Powell, my head coach, of course. just lots of guys that are, like really strong wrestlers, really strong jiu-jitsu guys as well for this camp in preparation for Lorenzo, that aren't necessarily fighters, but guys that are more like specialty in those areas. So been getting in a little bit more work with some guys like that. But yeah, pretty standard crew that we always have, going at Nostos. We just, we have a pretty deep room. So there's more than enough bodies for whatever you need.
I've said it interviewing your teammates before, but you guys are full of killers on that gym.
Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. We joke about it all the time. We'll pick on each other if, one person's having kind of like a bad day or whatever, and they're feeling a little bit, sorry for themselves or whatever. But we'll just remind them like, hey, man, this is a hard room to win in. And it is. Like every day, like you're going against champions, like either people that are probably going to be professional champions soon, people that are currently amateur champions, people that are between that, amateur championship to pro championship area, amateurs that are looking at getting their first title soon. Everybody's kind of at the top of the heap in our gym. And then we got people coming in all the time too from outside gyms that are also, top of the food chain as well from where they come from. So it's awesome to get and work with those guys when they come down as well. But yeah, it's a hard room to win in, and it's steel, in there every day, and it's sick.
And what has been the toughest fight of your career so far? I know you're early into it, but what do you feel like has been the toughest fight, and what have you learned from it?
My second amateur title fight against Aussie for sure. Just a war, you know what I mean? I think that wouldn't be a surprise to anyone. When you look at my Tapology, all my other fights been pretty quick. That was definitely a banger. Ozzy and I, train with each other full time now. So that was something that was huge that came out of that. Obviously, when you're already that close in skill set, when, you can bring that person into the room and start training with them all the time, you just elevate each other so much more. But I would say like the biggest thing I took from that, I just took being a little bit smarter. A couple of times I started having a little bit too much fun in there. And maybe like also kind of didn't give him the benefit of the doubt a lot of times. There were a couple of times in that fight where like I thought I was going to get him out of there. Like I thought he was just kind of waiting for me to hit him with something hard enough to like, make him sit, because I knew he wasn't going to take the knee, like I knew he was a super tough kid. I wasn't like expecting him to quit, but I was just waiting. Like I thought he was done, a couple of times. I thought it was just a matter of like he was waiting to get put out, basically, waiting to get put out of his misery. And I would kind of loosen my guard and just try to go in for that finish. And he clipped me a couple of times when I tried to do that. So that was something that I just kind of took from that fight, just being a little bit more patient. And giving people the benefit of the doubt a little bit more. There are a lot of dogs in this game. There's a lot of really tough dudes that will scrap it out to the very end. So just realizing that people are always dangerous and treating it that way.
I'm jealous of the people who saw that live, because that was a banger of a fight, man. I had to go back and watch that on YouTube between you guys.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy, man. I've never felt energy like that before in my life. That was definitely like a probably once in a lifetime type of experience, once in a lifetime type of fight. But yeah, no, that was an amazing night.
Absolutely. And how'd you get the nickname American Psycho?
So it kind of snowballed. Like Cage Titans, Andy, I don't know if you've met Andy, the commentator down there at Cage Titans. He pushes a lot for nicknames because, it's fun. Like he gives them a little something to play with, especially when you're like an amateur. They're trying to give you, some things to market yourself by as well, to help you grow and, your early career. And, I never had one. They would always kind of pick on me my first couple of fights. Like, you need a nickname, and I released these fight shirts that it was just like a picture of me essentially, like some fake blood splatter behind it. Like, probably they were pretty over the top, but pretty violent. But there's this dude that I trained at the gym named Devin, who said to me, he was like, hey, dude, like you look like you're out of the movie American Psycho on that shirt. And it was just kind of something that kind of snowballed from there. I think like there were a couple of jokes made about it or whatever. And then going into the fight, out back. And he would just like, do you have a nickname? Like, come on, let's get something going here. And I was like, I don't have a nickname, Andy. I was like, but like, this is something. Like someone said it the other day. They said about like the shirt. I was like, it's cool, but it is Stephen Bonner, and I was a huge Stephen Bonner fan. So I was like, I'm not trying to like take Stephen Bonner's nickname or anything like that. And he was like, no. Like he was like, like Stephen Bonner's retired. Like you can take that now. And he said, like the way you fight, like you can roll with it. So it fits. I like it.
I love it, man. And not looking past Lorenzo, but what's next for you after this fight?
I don't really know, just keep stacking. Again, just early in my pro career, this will only be my second professional fight, obviously. This is my full-time career. So I'd like to stay pretty active here, get another paycheck pretty soon after this one, and just keep building, keep building this into something that's, real, PFL, UFC, whatever that is. I'll just keep making my way, but I know where I'm headed.
Absolutely. If you could fight any fighter in history, who would it be and why?
Any fighter in history, damn. That's tough. Like I would say like whoever like the worst person was like in the world probably, right? That like was a fighter, and I'd just say like fight that guy, just like beat him up. But I'd say like coolest, like as far as like matchup wise, I'd say like GSP. Be sick to, obviously welterweight GOAT, as a welterweight, get in there and fight with a welterweight GOAT. Just to even like see what it's like, even just to get your ass beat by him and be like, damn, yeah, he was that good. Be cool.
And it's a tough question, man, but it's just something that I've been wondering. So how are you guys balancing between like, you, Ozzy, and Kyle? Like Ozzy's not a pro yet, but he will be, and eventually you'll all be in the same division. So it's like, how are you going to approach that when the time comes?
Yeah, dude. I mean, we just look at it really, I think, as a brotherhood. I think we kind of look at it as like family first type of a thing. And again, like we're just, you have to be selfish in this game as far as like yourself and like what you want, what you're trying to get out of this. But we definitely as a group kind of take it as being more selfless for each other and for our teammates. Definitely like, all three of us will make a lot of sacrifices for each other. A lot of us already have. But we look at it as, again, like we're so much stronger with each other. And we're going to develop so much more. We're going to gain so much more overall by working with each other and building each other up than we would, fighting against each other. And, I think proof's in the pudding already from what we've been doing and, what we've, proven so far. And we're just going to, keep continuing to do so. I know that's my mindset. I know, we all talk regularly. Obviously, we're really close. So, I mean, if anybody was ever feeling a certain type of way about something, I'm sure that would be a communication that'd be really easy to have. But yeah, so far, I mean, the balance has been really easy, like Devin does the absolute best he can to give, all of himself to us. Whoever's, turn it is essentially in the rotation, they're the one that gets the major focus. Right now, obviously that's me. When I'm done fighting, whichever one of us is next up, that'll be the one that, the magnifying glass is on, and that'll be the one that, me and the other teammate will be pouring all of our attention and work into as well. So, it's just, I show up for my teammates, they show up for me. And it's easy that way.
Sir, and do you have any, like pre-fight rituals or routines you do before you step into the cage?
Not really. I would say one thing I guess I've always done, I would just kind of give like my shoulders one last little like shake, just kind of get that like last little bit of like anxiety, whatever's like in between those shoulder blades there, just kind of get that out, let everything fully loosen up, just kind of take a deep breath. I usually just kind of like give a slap on both the pads there, going through the doorway, and yeah, just kind of take it in. I'd say that's the biggest thing. I wouldn't say it's like a ritual or a routine or anything, but I just try and just take everything in. I just try and like not let the moment overwhelm me or anything. I just try and be excited about what I'm going to get to do, excited about getting to compete. I try and like thrive off that energy of the crowd, and just lock in and just, get ready to do what I do.
Yes, sir. And come Sunday after the fight, you've put in all that time, that hard work and everything, man. What's going to be your go-to post-fight cheat meal?
Go-to post-fight cheat meal. I mean, obviously it depends on what I can eat. Sometimes it's a little tough with chewing. But I would say like some good, like some wings and like a big burger would be sweet. Yeah. Just go get like, some buffalo wings as an appetizer, big burger and fries. Just a nice big greasy fat meal would be great.
Yes, sir. That's all I had for you today, Brody, man. I appreciate the time. Is there any teammates, sponsors, or socials you want to shout out before we go?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Obviously, Nostos MMA, Powell House Management, my management, Carolyn Powell, my manager, Devin's wife. She does like above and beyond to take care of me and the rest of the guys that she manages. So just really, really appreciative of her. Devin, of course, my striking coach, Nick Miles, getting in a lot of extra work with him this camp, which has been huge. All the rest of my training partners. I got to give a special shout out to A New You Hypnotherapy, my man Pete down in Portsmouth. If you're in the Portsmouth, New Hampshire area, go down, check him out. And then the rest of my sponsors, Kind Farms Reserve, the original Wheelman, Top Gun Roofing, Sergeant Smith's Training Clean, McInnes Quality Builders, Primal Fit Gym, Middleton Chiropractic, Duffy, Riley Pierce Fierce, Elevate Design, and French Masonry. And you guys can find me on Instagram at Brody.McDougal21. That's really all I got. I have a Facebook, but I'm not really active on it at all. And I don't have a TikTok or anything. So if you want to get at me, Brody.McDougal21 on Instagram.
Again, Brody, man, thank you for the time. I wish you best with the rest of the camp, and I look forward to seeing you compete on September 14th.
Thank you, brother. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you there as well.
It's my pleasure, man. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.